Hello, Tamily. We are about to start our 143rd Ask Tamily interview. And our guest today will be Melissa. Her Instagram name is MelissaAnnB6, and she's going to be joining in just a second. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, Melissa. We're excited to interview you today.
Yeah, I'm just trying to set this up so it looks as good as yours. So,
I've had a lot of practice.
yeah, you have a lot of interviews.
Well, thank you for being our 143rd interview. I can't even believe that every single week, how high the number is getting. But we are excited to get to know you a little bit more and to ask you about your journey with the Tracy Anderson method. So we'll go ahead and get started with our favorite question, which is when and how did you start doing the method?
Well, I actually I was on YouTube and I was just looking up workout videos, and I saw Gwyneth Paltrow, and I thought, oh, she's so gorgeous. And then I saw her working out, and I thought, wow, and she just showed how much she changed in her body shape. And I started doing some of the arms that Tracy Anderson was doing, and I thought I wasn't, my health wasn't good at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I can do a little bit of this. And I had done all these other kinds of workout programs, but they just shaped me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing her method, Tracy's method, and I liked what I saw. It was like she said, the muscles sucked in, and I was in the right shape that I wanted to be in.
Yeah, that's definitely important. How long ago was it that you found those videos?
Oh man, it was about, I want to say about 12, 13 years ago.
Wow.
So, and then I started from there. Because I bought so many different workout videos, and they ended up back on the shelf. And so I told myself I'll do the YouTube videos, and then if I like them, and then I gradually progressed into her DVDs, and then the continuity, and then finally the streamlining, which
Excellent.
I loved it.
So, did you do all of continuity, or did you switch to streaming before you finished continuity?
Oh, I did all of the continuity. I'm a very type A person, and she said it was going to really help me, so I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the streamlining, I thought it was like a actual workout where they could see you working out. So I was really nervous about it, but I didn't want to give it up. And I remember thinking, oh no, what if she stops? What's going to happen now? And because it's addicting in a good way, it's addicting.
Absolutely. So which workout do you do at this point?
I do intermediate most of the time, and then sometimes I've had quite a health journey, and I'm learning to listen more to my body instead of just do what I think I should do. And I do start sometimes, and then I'll do the intro dance, which I love that. And when it's something that I can handle, I do fundamentals because I love that. Attain is a goal, a someday goal.
Right.
I have vertigo and some of those fun little things.
No. Yeah, no way. They can give you vertigo even if you don't have vertigo.
I was hearing some of the ladies, I was watching some of the Tamily, and they were saying, I'm getting vertigo just doing these. And I thought, not doing that.
Yeah. They are definitely complex, but in all honesty, every single workout is a great workout. I mean,
Really,
definitely. Yeah. So, what is your philosophy about rest days, or how often per week do you usually work out?
I try to work out 6 days a week, and an hour is what I usually go for. I know I've had struggles with adrenal issues and thyroid, and so if I go past the hour, sometimes I just try so hard to do, I just want to be like, oh, all these Amazon women, and it doesn't do me very well. So an hour is a good time, and I try to at least do three fundamental, and then if I can, I want to do more. But if not, then I'll do start and the intro cardio,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's what. And Saturdays I try to make that my fun day, so I can just pick and choose whatever I want.
Oh, that's a good idea.
But isn't it weird? If I don't work out, like if I have something planned, I will automatically find myself getting up and starting getting my leggings on. Nope, not today. But it's because it's such a good habit.
Right. It really is. It is. And it just becomes part of your normal life.
And when you don't do it, you feel guilty, like,
Totally.
no, what am I
But
missing?
yeah, I think though, it's kind of to that point that you said about listening to your body. Tracy wants us to be balanced and
Yeah.
not to feel guilty, to enjoy the rest days that we take and then enjoy the days that we're working out. But I love that concept of I'm just going to do the things that I think are fun. Like, especially because you can have this like dread of working out and thinking of it negatively, and it's really not. So sometimes I do that a little bit too, of like, well, I'm just going to do the parts that I like.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, you end up really doing like the whole thing.
It's so true because I'll think I'm just going to do this and this, and then before long, I find myself just doing it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have a question in the chat from McDance Love.
Oh,
He says, "What do your grandkids think of your workout?"
oh my goodness. They're so cute. They'll talk to me like Tracy's my friend. And they'll come up, and sometimes when I'm working out, they'll just line up and watch me and just sit against the wall. And um, I I love that in the fact that it's teaching them how important it is to work out, to take care of your body.
Yeah.
And they know when they come to Mimi's house, we're going to get green smoothies. We're going to eat healthy.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, that is wonderful. I mean, it makes such a difference to
Yeah.
see, like, especially someone that, is balanced, focused on wellness, and enjoys exercise. Like, it's not something to be thought of as negative. That's such like a thing in our culture that, you
Yeah.
know, the Tamily can turn that around, I'm sure.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You all, your inspiration and encouragement. I There are days that are dark days, and everybody has them, where you're depressed or you're down on yourself, or sometimes I compare myself to
Mm-hmm.
others, and that was never that's not how it's supposed to be. But you do, when I see Loretta knocking it out, I but then it's like, no, what's your journey?
Mm-hmm.
And I loved what Tracy said last week about don't compare yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to be somebody else's body. Be the healthy body you're supposed to be. And I love that. I thought, yes, put that in my head.
Yeah, that's another thing that's just like a constant battle, but that's Tracy doesn't want us to do that. Like the whole message is about being the best you
Yes.
and being
Yes.
comfortable with you, and being healthy is the most important thing.
Yeah. Yes.
So how did you find out about the Tamily on Instagram?
Oh, I remember seeing, once I started doing Tracy Anderson, of course I started following her,
Mhm.
and I started seeing, she said she had mentioned something about a hashtag Tamily,
Mhm.
and I'm not a real outgoing person, but I started watching these ladies and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, they're videoing themselves working out. And there was this one lady, she's no longer a part of it, but I can't remember. It was something like Boondier or something. And she was
Okay.
fun. And some of them, I'm nervous, so I can't remember all the people. But I just started watching them and they really encouraged me. And so I remember the first time I videoed, I got harassed by my brother and my family. Giving me such a hard time. And I was so determined because I loved the group, you know, and I loved the way everybody encouraged each other. And so I did it anyway. And I, you know how sometimes I get too focused, so I have to back up. You know, Melissa, you need a video and put a video on 3 times a day. Step away,
Right.
talk to your husband, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
But I just remember being so brave the first time. I was so nervous.
I think that's how everyone feels, and especially people like from the outside looking in, they don't understand why someone would post their workouts. But
Yeah.
once you come over to that side, you know, it doesn't matter what they think, and it's
Yeah.
fun, and it's good for accountability and encouragement and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why when you told me, you said, we can talk about Tracy, I was like, yes.
Right.
Her.
60 minutes of Tracy and no one is going to mind.
I know, Tamily, because the kids, they'll say things and I'll start talking about you guys and they'll say, Mom, do you know them personally? I go, kind of.
Yeah.
We share.
Yeah, absolutely. And like there's really not anything that's, you know, kind of more personal than like sharing a workout together. Like that is real basis for friendship. And we all have that kind of, you know, very driven like type A personality like you were saying that makes sense.
Yeah. And I notice what I really like is the realness. People will say, I'm having a bad day, or I feel fat, or I cannot stop eating chocolate, you know, and it's an honesty and it helps everybody realize it's not the perfection mindset that we see on the media. You know, it's reality and oh, I can relate to them, you know, and we can encourage each other instead of tear each other down.
Yeah, and hear about each other's struggles and like especially with the streaming, you know, we're kind of like all in the same space at different times that we can, you know, relate to each other and relate whatever's going on in life to, you know, whatever's going on with working out too.
Yes, yes. And I like it when people say, leave it on the mat. And it's
Right.
funny because you almost have to, because you have to focus so much on like holding yourself the right way and doing the moves. And so it's nice to be able to just pause. Like today I was nervous about this and so I was like, I'm working out first thing.
Yes, that's the way to do it. Really, whenever you have something that's like maybe going to be a challenge in the day, it's like do the workout and then think about it. And you just have a better, you know, it's like a better mental place.
Yeah. Yes.
So, who would you say in the Tamily inspires you?
Wow. I just, I can't, I can't say one person because I love just seeing everybody's journey. You know, I I will see, you know, sometimes when I really need motivation, I'll follow the people that are really strong and really pushing through. And then other times I'll say, oh, they're having a rough time. I can relate to that. I'll encourage them. And it's just, man, I can't really say, there's just so many lovely, and I hate saying that word, that sounds kind of weird, but really truly lovely people. And their hearts are good. And like, I don't know what her real name is, but it's Aggie. I'm so bad at it.
Walia, I think.
Yeah, yes. And it's when she gave gifts out for her birthday, you know, and just nice, nice people. And I really enjoy just, I don't know, I think sometimes workout groups can get kind of catty.
Uh-huh.
And it's like with Tamily, we don't allow it. It's like, or if somebody will say something, it's like, and they'll just go over to the positive instead. And I love that.
Yeah, that is something that is so unique about this community. I don't know how it all came together or how it continues, but it is amazing.
Yeah, and I love the way it's the politics and the religion and the different views of all of these different things we we accept and love for each individual, and I appreciate that. I respect that. And I just wish we could always be like that with everything.
Right. If the whole world could just act like the Tamily does all the time. So do you have any workout partners?
Um, no, my kids have come in and tried with me, but that's not their thing. But that's okay as long as they're moving and taking care of themselves. But no, I've always been the kind of person that likes to just work out by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because I can focus more clearly on my workout. And so it doesn't really bother me that no one else does. Now I know there's a lady in Topeka, Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
Her name's Melissa too. And we'll talk back and forth. And someday we're going to meet up. But and sometimes my daughter-in-law will come and do it. But she has twins and a baby, so
Mm-hmm.
she's kind of busy. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever met anyone from the Tamily in person?
No,
Oh
I
my
have.
gosh.
I know. I want to, and sometimes I'll send out invitations. If you guys ever come to Kansas,
Uh-huh.
you can stay at my house and we can work out together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, there hasn't been a lot of travel going on, but we are going to have to plan Tamily meetups all over the place as soon as we can.
That would be so fun, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. I see little meetups and I'll see the Zoom workouts. They've invited me. I'm not real computer friendly. And so I tried to get on the Zoom one time and then I said, I'll have to figure it out later.
I'm sure you can figure it out. It's not difficult. So you haven't done any Zoom workouts over the past
No.
year?
No. And for a while I was kind of in a dark place. My adrenals had messed up and they were telling me I could only do 20 minutes a day for a while. And that was so hard.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Oh, and the doctor said, I know you. But I tried really hard to just do 20 minutes of Tracy and then I'd go out and walk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you hurt your foot or when you hurt your knee or ankle or your elbow or whatever it is, you have to step away.
Yeah.
But it's just I always try to learn from it. Okay, what do I need to learn from this? Oh, patience, balance, focus. And that's a very healthy mindset for me when I think like that instead of whining a lot.
Sometimes you have to get the whining out of the way first and then.
And I have vented on Tamily on IG before, let me tell you. And it was so sweet because everybody just encouraged me, Then I wanted to apologize.
No, it's definitely a place where you can say, oh, this is terrible. I'm having the worst day. And people will just encourage you.
Yes, especially like on the new weeks, on Wednesdays, you have this anticipation. And sometimes I'll be so excited and I'll see it and I'll go, I can't do that.
Right.
But it's in my head. A lot of times if I just moderate the moves or once I go through it in a nice slow motion, it's fine.
Yeah.
But just at first when it hits you, like, what is going on?
Yeah, like this week in fundamental, when you put your arms behind your back and stand up, I'm like, there's no way that's happening. And then I do it, and it's
Yes.
not like it's easy, but I'm like, oh, I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it at all.
Yeah. And I remember her saying, Tracy saying that she's training our muscles. And it is true. Like the very first one or two times, my muscles won't work that way. And then as the week goes,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I can do that, you know? So that's a really, it's a cool thing to know that, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Yeah, that is like, there's really nothing else, I don't know, like that, where you can see like progress every day and every single week you're, learning something new and moving in another way and getting better at it.
Yeah. And the bloopers, because today I did one and I leaned forward and I went to kick and I just fell flat. I go, oh, that's a good one.
Right. You do learn how to fall. It's funny. Like, I don't know, the ones where you go into a bridge this week, I'm like, I just want to fall on the ground.
That attain, I watched some of the attain breakdown on the chair, on the knee, and I go, oh, there's no way. And you guys are all doing it.
I'm not. That
Oh,
makes me afraid I'll break my leg or something.
yeah. They have their mat up there, and sometimes my knee will slide off the mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little scary. Um, have you faced any challenges in doing the method?
Yes. Um, yes, I have. With my health, when I first started off, and I have TMJ and vertigo, like I said before, and I am healing from that. I have a positive mindset, but there are days when I just have to. I feel like I've just started all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter was so sweet. She told me, she was, Mom, you're forgetting what you were like at the very beginning. And at the very beginning, I'm not exaggerating, it was a struggle for me to walk up the stairs. Mm-hmm. I had so many different things, and the medicines had over medicated, and it was rough. Mm-hmm. And so when I have, like, my jaws are bothering me, or the vertigo or anything, I just have to think, okay, do what you can do, move. Somehow, I've even used a chair before to hold on to. Mm-hmm. But I think if we just sit there and feel sorry for ourselves, it's not going to do any good.
Right.
And also realize that we've come far. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love, those before after pictures, not so much to try to get us to do a special diet or a special thing, but to help us and remind us, look at our journey, look what we're doing,
Yeah, it is amazing.
Yeah, and of course, growing older, it's so cool to see the different ages of every,
yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, I have not seen like another workout where you could see women in like every decade of age doing the same workouts. Like, it's amazing.
It is. It really is.
It's so inspirational. I mean, it's something, I guess, before Tracy, I never really would have thought about like doing a regular workout for the rest of my life, and that would be sustainable. And it seems totally like it is, seeing
Yes.
women in their 60s, 70s, 80s working out multiple times a week for an hour. Like,
Yeah.
It is amazing.
And you can always tell, I always think it's tried and true when people, like I have a homeopathic doctor, and before all of the different diets and all the different things, he would always say, eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, and make sure the basics, but he never changed that. And it's the same thing with Tracy's principles. It's the same. She may have you add some extra weights every once in a while, but it's always the same. And it's been that way. And so that shows to me that it's working.
Yeah.
Because you see some of these health gurus and they all of a sudden they switch
Yeah.
to something else. But she's always stuck with what she believes. And I love the fact that it's not the same workout every week.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some weeks that I'm like, oh, I can't hardly do any of this. But then I think, oh, next week it'll be different.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Like that is definitely something that's amazing about her, especially producing that amount of content every single week. And you think about the choices that we have. But you're right, like her basics stay the same. Like you have to work out 6 to 7 days a week. And to think that like she doesn't relent about that, while there's crazy things out there saying like, oh, you know, work out 15 minutes 3 times a week and you're going to look like this model. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, you know, for her to like stick to that, especially with like the pressure that's in that kind of industry, and, you know, I'm sure there's like partnerships and things you could get if you adjust what you say. But yeah, that is definitely amazing.
Yeah. And I love her attitude about working out. You know, if she's not real perky and bouncy and like serious, you know, because this is serious. I mean, she'll smile. I don't mean, but she takes it serious and she wants us to focus. Mm-hmm. And I used to love it when there was the workout group, mm-hmm. and she would turn around and say, hey, man, I was like, I listened to everything she said. I felt like I was getting in trouble too.
Yeah, so she is definitely serious.
Yeah, and I love the breakdowns. Those ladies are magical just because sometimes I just want to get the workout done. And so I just go through the motion, but they help me focus, like on planks. I had such a terrible form when I did planks. And like Lashana, the way she would say, put your shoulders back and hold. Those principles are so important, and holding your stomach in instead of being lazy, you know, just the key things to the movement, and to watch her and make your minds work too, you know.
Yeah.
I just love talking about this. This is so fun.
Well, and that's what's amazing too about Tracy, is that she's put that team together of like trainers that are amazing. And sometimes it's like they can almost, you know, you can just see things differently and they get the message through to you, even if Tracy hasn't completely. Like, it is really, it is just totally amazing. Some of them, Lashana and Courtney, and oh my God, they are phenomenal people.
Yeah, when they step on the mat and start doing arms and things, you go, okay, here we go.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, Courtney arms are way harder than Tracy arms.
I know. And when they were doing the 5-pound weights,
oh my gosh,
little arms were shaking.
I cannot believe how much harder 5-pound weights are than 3 pounds. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. I'm really glad we haven't had them recently. Hopefully that doesn't happen again soon.
Maybe she's not listening, because sometimes I feel like if I say, oh, I'm so glad we're not doing this, it's the next week.
Yeah,
it's like
she monitors everything that we say.
Yeah.
So we have a question in the chat from Nicole. She says, what is something that you struggled to do before starting the method that you can do easily now?
Everything. I mean, if you wouldn't have believed when I say I struggled to go up the steps, my energy was so bad. And now, you know, just by even doing the workout, and I don't do a lot of cardio. I do like 15 to 30 minutes 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. But that energy and that strength and the way the muscles are, I can walk places. I can go up hills. I can go, you know, I can do the things that I used to not be able to do. And then the way she helps build up my shoulders and muscles, carrying those grandkids, let me tell you, they're heavy. If I wouldn't have, you know, started doing these workouts, I just, and being able to get on the floor and crawl around with the kids. And you know how she says to move like a cat. Mm-hmm. And I was doing something, and one of the grandkids did something, and I swirled around like one of the moves, and I go, like a cat, you know. And it's true. So when you're in your 60s, to be able to get down on the floor and play with the kids and do all those things, it just
Yeah.
made me happy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you think about, especially for like people that don't work out at all or have other things going on with health that are in their even 40s and 50s and are not able to run around and play with kids, much less think about getting up and down from the floor. I mean,
Yes.
when I play with my nieces and nephews, I'm like, do we have to get up and down so much? Like, let's just sit on the floor for a while and then.
I know. Please, I'm doing Tracy all over again.
Right. We have another question in the chat. What is your favorite hour of the day to work out?
I love doing it in the morning, just after I have my quiet time. Um, it's like clockwork, and I think the reason why I started that is because I know how I am, and I let the day just run me some days. And if I do those principles at first, and then and I want to encourage other people that are, if anybody's new that's starting, it almost feels selfish at first, but it's not. It's a commitment. And to be able to, because there was times when I'd hear the kids talking and like, hanging out and laughing, but I knew, Melissa, it's only 30 minutes or it's only an hour. Get that done. You have the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I do it in the morning, just because I don't want anything to get in my way. Just knock that out, then I have the rest of the day.
Yeah, it is such like a relief and an accomplishment, like that just sets you up for a positive start.
Plus, I can't imagine some of those ladies work out at nighttime. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's a lot of energy to put out at nighttime after your day's been.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I switched to mornings, and I have to say, I'm still not a morning person, but it is definitely so much easier than like, I don't know. To me, I got to where I was just thinking about it all the way until I worked out. Like it's just such a shift to get it done.
Yeah. And then you feel good the rest of the day, like, oh, I did my workout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the days that like things start going bad, I'm like, oh, I didn't work out this morning. And that is why I am so mad, or whatever thing is going on. What is some advice that you've received from the Tamily that meant something to you?
Well, I remember one that really stuck with me is to hold my stomach in. I know it should be common knowledge, but somebody with like me that never had instructors or trainers, I didn't know a lot of this stuff. And I remember a lot of the ladies were sharing, make sure you hold your stomach in, pull in, and focus on the moves. When you're doing your arms, don't just fling them, press them. And the more I do it, the more I realize, oh, I can feel the muscles working. Oh, click. But yeah, when I read those things and the things that people are sharing helps so much, because I can't afford to go to those classes and things. And I love the way they share, because it's like, oh, okay. It's like my own little mini session.
Yes. I love that too. We have another question in the chat from Maggie. She says, where in the world are you and what do you love about where you live?
I live in Kansas, and the thing about Kansas is we had when I was a teacher, and we had a man from France come and teach, and he would say, this Kansas weather, I do not understand. I said, well, it just changes all the time. I mean, 1 minute, like this week, it's supposed to be sunny, rainy, and snow.
Oh my gosh.
So anywhere from 80 to 40.
Well, that's variety.
Yes, and you just never know what you're going to wear, ever. And the thing that I don't care for is the humidity. I mean, my hair can look really good, and then I step outside, it looks like one of those. And I love those things that Tamily will put about their hair. Oh my gosh, because those things that start whipping around the wings on our hair and their ponytails and stuff, it's like, yes, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think people realize like how humid the Midwest is. It is
Oh, yeah. And
crazy.
then those ladies have those humidifiers going. I will do the humidifiers in the wintertime, but
Mhm.
in the summer,
Mhm.
no, no.
Yeah. Um, we have another question from Hannah. She says she had no idea that you were a teacher. What did you teach? What ages and why did you stop?
Oh, okay. Well, I can talk about this. I taught third grade
Oh.
for about 10 years, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And you know how you say there are certain things you say you'll never do, and then you do them.
Hmm.
I had said I would never homeschool.
Uh-huh.
And I thought of all these reasons, but I missed my kids. And even though they were at school in a different class, I missed them. And my husband and I talked about it, and we prayed about it. And my doctor too also told me I needed to stop working, too much stress, and I pulled some muscles and all this. And so he told me to stop. So I quit. I don't think he meant for me to homeschool, because the next time he asked me how things were going, I said, good, I homeschool now. He goes, that's just as bad as teaching. but but yeah, the reason why I stepped away from that was to homeschool my kids. And that was a completely different learning experience. And but they grew up, and they remind me of all the things that I messed up on, but they love me anyway. So
Oh. I'm sure there were many more things that you got right.
yeah. But when kids tell stories, they used to say we'd get them up at 6 a lot of times, to do stuff. Oh, now it's 3 in the morning. I said, never did that.
Right.
But
Oh, that's funny. I'm sure that was a great experience, though, for you to be
yeah,
able to spend with them.
well, I learned more than they did. Because when you're teaching, you want to be on top of things. And so even the things that I didn't like, I had to study because I had to teach it to them.
Right.
And now with COVID and everything, all these moms
Yeah.
that never intended to homeschool or
Yeah.
teach, they're at home,
Yeah. Yeah. I cannot even imagine. I can't imagine it. Like,
I think your
amazing.
nieces would love you to come and teach with them.
They probably would. We wouldn't get a lot of schoolwork done. We would bake cookies and play. Like,
Home ec.
right, right. There you go. All right, I can do that. Um, what do your friends and family think of the method?
Well, at first, they kind of gave me I don't want to say give me a hard time, but kind of like, you're going to go do that again? Because, it was all new. I'd never, and now it's so sweet. My husband's always encouraging me, even when I try to get him to, do you think I should work out today? He goes, yeah, do it, you know,
Yeah.
and it's just become, that's just me, it's kind of like, it's almost like, well, that's just a part of mom. She works out, and my friends um, and it's always awesome to know that you are setting an example
Yeah.
for other people to work out, or to eat healthy, or just to take care of yourself. And that's what I like the most, because it's so important. I can't stress. I just wish I knew what I know now when I was 20. I think that would have helped me a lot
Yeah.
as far as taking care of myself.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. If we only had Tracy when we were all 20.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I look for no nonsense, even about health and nutrition with the eating. You know, she doesn't have you go off on these strange diets. Because I have been on every single diet there is,
Mhm.
you know, and sixth grade I weighed like 165 pounds, and then I got on diet pills and just did all of these terrible things, and it took me a while to rebuild myself and get healthy again,
Mhm.
just because I had not taken care of myself.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is, it's definitely a tough journey.
it is. It is. And it's not just, it doesn't magically happen with a magic pill or
Right.
oh, try this. Or if you eat a cabbage soup every day. No, it takes a lot of mistakes and then just trying again, you know?
Mhm. Well, I always think about that when people say like, "Oh, what are you doing? Like you look like you've lost weight." And I'm like, "Oh, I just work out for an hour a day, 7 days a week," and they're like drifting away. And I'm like, "Oh, did you hear it? There's no secret. It's not a special powder that I'm putting in water or something. It's work out every day of your life."
It's
That's
true. And it gives you a
formula.
glow, you know, like your smile, your glow. It really does. It helps your circulation. It helps all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, it's not just muscular and energy, it's your skin, it's everything.
Yes. And your confidence and like I've noticed even the way I hold myself is so much different than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Hannah has another question. She said, "What does your diet look like now?"
Um, it's so funny because I you know how you always try to go on journeys so you can learn from them. And what what was my problems, the problems I had and the different diets I had to be on has helped me when people are having struggles and they come over and they say, oh, I can't have gluten, or oh, I'm on the paleo, or oh, I'm on keto. I know how to do that. I have some recipes. I've tried so many different things. And when she asked about that, I thought, for a while, I thought everybody should eat the same way. You know, you should either be all this or all that. I don't agree with that with myself anymore. Everybody's so different. You know, like there's some people that are really meat eaters and other people that are vegan. And it doesn't mean that they're right or they're wrong. It just means that's what works for their bodies.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm on, I don't want to label anything, but I've been doing mainly just a vegan diet.
Okay.
Just to get in more fruits and vegetables
Mm-hmm.
because that's where I'm healthiest at.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now that doesn't mean I don't eat meat. I do eat it every once in a while, but I have to really focus on getting those vegetables in. I would eat fruit all day, but getting those vegetables in, I shove them in my smoothies every morning. But it just helps me. I have MTHFR, which doesn't, my body doesn't like processed food, even though I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice when I do eat processed food, it drains me. And I didn't want to notice that, but you know, you have to pay attention to your body. And so I've been trying to, you know, not cut myself off from it, but just know that when you eat this, Melissa, it's going to suck. So
Right.
I for special occasions.
Exactly. But that's so important to have that awareness.
Yes, yes, and
Exactly.
not judge.
Do you have a motivational quote that you would like to share with the Tamily?
Um, well, let's see. Wow, I have I have all these different quotes. I love reading. I get on Pinterest and get all these motivational quotes. This one that it's one of my favorite verses. It says, "I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me." And the reason why that's so important to me is there are times when I really don't think I can do things, like this interview, and I will like work myself up into just this hot mess. And it's like, no, you can do anything. You just have to give it over and not stress about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times we climb all these mountains before we just have one mountain to climb.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in our head. And
Yeah.
if we just take a deep breath, and have confidence and not I try to take the negative thoughts captive,
Mm-hmm.
and just ignore them because man, they float around in my head all the time. And if I just catch myself and think good things,
Mm-hmm.
and good thoughts and happy thoughts, it really helps me stay motivated. So that was
Yeah, absolutely.
sorry, that was long.
You get to talk as long as you want. But yeah, and we all struggle with that, like, negative self-talk all the time. I'm sure there's some evolutionary reason why we have that happening to us, but if you just replace it with something positive, it completely changes
Yeah,
how you feel and how your brain works.
yeah, it's so awesome. My kids teach me, and I think when you teach somebody, the awesome part is when they grow up and they're able to teach you. And I used to be terrible at body shaming myself. I would constantly pick out all of the flaws. And still to this day, I'll put on some leggings and I'll go, oh, and that's why I had to step away from always videoing myself, on Instagram for a while because I just would judge myself so much. It would take me 30 minutes to post something. I'm like, no. Um, but my daughter said, Mom, you're beautiful. And you need to start saying that to yourself every morning. And it's so funny because you notice people that have a light, that have a beautiful smile or radiate. It's not that they're gorgeous, it's that they're inside shining, and they just have a confidence about them. And sometimes I told my girls, I said, yeah, I want to grow up to be like you.
Oh, that's so cute. That's so wonderful. That's such a great outlook. And I'm sure some of it is due to the method.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, think about if you just sat around all day long, no matter how many times you got in front of the mirror and said, I'm beautiful, if you don't have energy and if you don't take care of yourself, you don't have that. Your blood
Yeah.
pumping, you're circulating, and your bones saying thank you. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Just such a vital thing for life, not just fitness. It's really about everything.
Yeah.
What is something that's important to you in your life that you would want to share with the Tamily?
Well, just I'm in my 60s, and for the longest time I didn't really know who I was. I always hear people say be you, and I didn't know who I was. I always tried so hard to be like other people, and get to know yourself, and start liking the things you like. That sounds weird, but what I mean is I'm not a real outdoors person, but I should go outside. But that's okay. That's me. I try to find out what you like, what you enjoy, what makes you, and I think I've learned just to take my eyes off of trying so hard to be somebody else because you can never be that.
Mm-hmm.
You can always be you.
Right.
and 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 I'm starting to see more of who I am. And my aunt, who was 100, she was 101 years old, and she never knew how old she was, but she always enjoyed herself. She liked her toast and her avocado, and that was just fine. She liked the clothes she wore, and she was just her, and everybody loved her. And that's what I my goal is to be more like me and less like everybody else.
Yeah,
So,
that is an excellent, excellent message. And something really good to know as early in life as possible while
yeah.
we're We're all learning it very far into adulthood.
Yeah, and you watch little kids that have no idea that they're supposed to try to be like other people, or
Mhm.
and they're so sweet, and they'll just go up to anybody and talk to them, and it's just, yeah, I
Yeah,
like.
yeah. It's refreshing to think about having a mind that's not, influenced by society and what everybody else thinks. Exactly. Who would you like to see us interview on a future Ask Tamily?
Wow, I don't know. I mean, you guys do. You surprise me when you ask me, but I like the variety.
Uh-huh.
I love the way you guys just pick. It's not just all these, well, the kind of people I call successful, these doctors and lawyers. And it's not just these people that are health gurus. It's, you just pick a wide variety, which is what Tamily's made of.
Mhm.
And that's what I love. I think you guys are doing a good job. So I'll let you pick.
Aw, thank you. I'm so glad you see that because sometimes people have thought like, oh, well, I don't do Attain and I haven't been doing the method for that long. So I'm sure you don't want to interview me. And I'm like, we've interviewed people that have been doing the method for 90 days. Like, definitely, it can be a huge variety. Or, oh, like, I don't post my workouts. Like, well, you don't have to. Like, of course, we'd all like to bring you to the side of posting your workouts, but
But
that's not a requirement either. Like the requirement is you're in the Tamily and you do the method and that's it. It doesn't matter how long, it doesn't matter if you do Attain, I don't do Attain. Like, it really is about just trying to get to everyone that we
yeah.
can.
And I think that's why I like this, is because it's a patchwork
Mm-hmm.
of all these different kinds of people. Like that picture they did of Tracy and had all the different people. And that's what it is. It's, you can't just say, well, you can only join Tamily if you're this or this or this.
Yeah,
It's not. It's just this huge variety of everybody, and that's what I really like about
me too. Um, Let me see what else I have to ask you and if we have any more questions in the chat. What would you say that you're most proud of?
it. Like which part? What part?
It doesn't matter, any part you want.
um, I guess it can. I'll do one about Tracy,
Okay.
and then one about something else.
Okay.
But um, I'm I'm proud of the fact, or happy and grateful in the fact of being able to be consistent in this. That I found a workout that I enjoy, and I'm doing it, you know, and that makes me happy. And I always, that's my hope, is that people find a method. I'm not. It doesn't have to be Tracy, but it should be. But anyway, it's a good method, and I'm proud of the fact that I've stuck to it even in hard times,
Mhm.
and I have seen results, real results,
Mhm.
and I like that. And another thing I'm really proud of is um, my kids.
Mhm.
I There's a verse that says love covers a multitude of sins, and I think some of the mistakes I've made, and watch my kids raise their kids, and they're doing such a good job.
Mhm.
And it just makes my heart so proud to see that they love their kids, and they want to teach them, and they want to spend time with them and love them, and my two others that aren't married, they have successful careers. They just make me happy, and that's, I think that's one of the goals that I always had, is that my kids will grow up to love others and to take care of people, and to do the right things. So yeah.
That's excellent. You're such an open and sweet person, especially like thinking in that mindset about your kids and just like the reciprocal kind of teaching and stuff. Like that's really, really, really wonderful.
Well, it's humbling to see. I I don't know. Sometimes I get I get too hard on myself, And just the grace I see other people give to me, I want to be able to give that back to them. Like some of these moms, when they found out that I was going to be speaking, they started encouraging me already before they'd even heard me speak. I'm like, that is so nice.
Yeah. um, we just got an interesting question in the chat. So Small Talk Tamily said, "Tell us about your book."
Oh, okay. That I during a few years ago, I had vertigo really bad, and I couldn't do a lot of things, and I started feeling sorry for myself. So I love reading, and I love romance, and I love mysteries. And then I thought, I always get these thoughts in my head of, oh, a book should do this or a book should do that. I go, I'll write a book. And so I wrote a book, and I got it all done this January. And
Okay.
it's um, Murder in the Muse.
Wow.
But I didn't realize, I thought writing the book would be the hard part. The hard part is editing, getting somebody to edit my book and decide how to publish it. Like, do I self-publish? Do I let somebody else? That's so hard because I just like to write. I just want somebody else to take care of all that other stuff, the tedious.
Right.
And, but that's what we're going through right now. It's done, but just getting, the next step, which I'm not real good at the next step. I kind of like to digest things and hold on to them. And my son-in-law is really good at saying, when are you going to publish that? What's your next step? I've been ignoring him.
Well, that is so awesome that you wrote a book. That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's always been one of my bucket list things. And I'm already working on book 2. I'm like,
Oh!
I probably should publish the first one.
You probably should publish it for sure. Oh, that's so wonderful. That's really cool. I did not expect to learn something like that during this interview today.
It's funny though, because when I was writing it, they become so personal to me. And Magda is the hero of it, and the guy that she falls in love with is, I shouldn't say that, but anyway, his name's Jack. And I'll be talking to my kids and I'll go, well, Magda, and they'll go, Mom.
That's awesome. I love it. That is so fantastic. You are going to have to keep us updated, and we're probably going to ask you, when are you
Yes,
going
to keep pushing me, because I have to do these certain things to get somebody to edit it. Well, I had an editor, and then it kind of fell through. And that was fine, but now I've got to start over again. And that's part of it. I mean, how many times did I rewrite my book before I got it done the way, and it was really sweet because I didn't even want my kids to read it, because I didn't, when you write something, it's like, oh, what if it's awful? They won't tell me. but they all helped me, and they'd remind me, hey, Mom, you said this word. What was the word I said constantly? Pull. I put pull like 5 times in one paragraph, and I hadn't even realized it. But anyway.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Oh, I love learning things like that in Ask Tamily.
Yeah.
Well, we are coming up on the last minute of our hour.
Wow. It's true. Just like you said, once we start talking, it'll go fast.
Exactly. 59 minutes. I'm going to ask you one last Tam question before we close out. What Tam move did you used to hate that you now love?
Oh, wow. Love?
Tolerate, either one.
Yeah, tolerate. That's a good word. Well, I think the moves where she has you come up from the side and have to kick, when you're using your arm and your shoulder. I used to hate those because it hurt so much. And the way I've been listening to all of you and the pointers, how they're saying to use your muscles, not your shoulders and your neck.
Mhm.
And I guess I do love it because it's taught me use your muscles, you
Mhm.
know, and when you have to kick your leg up, that's like all of your core. That's not just your legs and your little shoulders. That's
Right.
every, and you can feel the lengthening, you
Mhm.
know, when you're doing it. So yeah, that and the planks. I'm still working on loving the planks. Not there yet,
Yeah.
but I like what they do.
That's true. That is true. They are effective.
Yes. Yeah. And if I, yeah, that's it.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much for your 60 minutes of conversation with us about Tracy. It's been super fun talking to you. You've been a great interview, and I'm glad that you weren't too nervous. You can let all of the Tamily know it's a fun experience, so they don't have to be scared.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate all the hard work you guys do and your patience.
Oh, absolutely. This is our most favorite thing. Thank you, Melissa. Have a great
All right.
weekend.
Bye bye.
Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye.